Okay, Laurel, let's have a look at the book now. Um, Complex mind map. That's good to see. I'd like to see uh, perhaps some other kind of visual element in here. This might be a little theme running throughout, I think. Something where, I mean, if you look at this photograph of the book, it's of the mind map, it's fairly kind of even tone. I'm thinking, I don't mind that. Fine. Nothing saying it has to be full of colour and pictures and so on. But I think you've got an opportunity here. If it's kind of looking kind of thin and slightly spidery, I think that's rather interesting. It might be something to develop further. Uh, but let's have a little look further on in the book and just check whether we haven't got a bit of a pattern emerging. Um, okay, so Tony Orsler. Uh, yeah, we've got the information there, and I like the fact that it's your writing and that you've chosen particular things that he's going to say, and a particular perspective on his work. I also like the kind of quite unusual little images that you create in response. I think this is an exciting sort of way of going with the work. I think the frustrating thing is though, if I'll be blunt, it looks slightly kind of like it's you're not giving it the full realization that it needs. We've got a delicate sort of style emerging already with the kind of outline marks and a very intriguing ideas, a very interesting character to them, very exciting sort of way of going. It just feels like it needs to really come out, and quite specifically in the way you're assessed, it's saying a range of visual language skills. It's saying that in a broad range of media and a wide range of ideas and so on. So, I think from a sort of an artistic, developing as an artist sort of viewpoint, you've got some very interesting things going on, no question. But at this stage, what you actually marked on and kind of what we're looking for is to show that you're going to cast the net wide, as it were. You're going to try and take on a lot of different things, and take a lot of chances and so on. I know you're kind of doing that actually with this quite surreal and unusual interpretation of work, but um, it needs to have more facets to it. And I think it's very important you take that on board, that you feel confident about going down this particular route, but also you are aware that you must be using a range of media, a range of ideas, and so on. Let's move on. Uh, yeah, the pages. I'm looking at the pages. Slightly, it feels like you're being kind of going halfway. Feels like you're being a little bit cautious, even though you're producing some quite strange and interesting things. You're actually being quite cautious in a way. Just with the layout, it feels like there's kind of rather a lot of gaps. Well, there shouldn't be gaps. I think gaps great, but if you're going to have gaps, maybe you could exaggerate the gaps. So there's a real sort of like, yeah, you want gaps. You want things to be sort of pieced together in a sort of web of different lines and locations and so on a page. So let's see that come out. Yeah, the mind map's kind of a little bit bitty. I've got quite a few gaps here. Yeah, again, it feels a little bit half baked, a little bit sort of half done. Good images to choose, but where are you in relation to this? What's your where's Laurel in relation to Gustav Metzger? What's the sort of thinking there? Um, yeah. Um, okay. Same sort of thing. I mean, I'm kind of skimming through this, and it's kind of bitty. I mean, you did a really excellent job of that. I mean, you're obviously quite accomplished at using the equipment, using the tools, using the medium. And so I'm thinking, well, all right, if we're going to be demonstrating that, let's get this thing a full page, full A4 on this page, and it's also full A4, and start to think, all right, we've got some serious bit of skillful manipulation of the medium. Let's give it the space it needs. and maybe even contrast it to when it starts to go a bit surreal. What I find quite intriguing is you're happy to do surreal things that you draw, and yet with the wire, there's a sort of something to do with realism that makes things stick a bit. And so, again, identifying that you've got those two aspects to your work, giving them space to breathe, letting them interact. This is important stuff to do. Great, you got your own artist. And I really like this page. I think, what a fascinating little page. Now, where is this going? I think of Anthony Gormley, who I'd look up. I think of a number of other artists, possibly Paolozzi, Eduardo Paolozzi. And, you've got some interesting things going on here. I'm slightly cautious that already, we've got to the end of the book. And, well, it's quite clear there's just simply not enough in there. As it stands, this it won't come anywhere near passing, which is very frustrating because you're capable and you've got an interesting sort of character to what you do, but it just simply is not going to pass. So it's quite a sense of urgency that you need to go about sorting this book out. You've got threads in there that you can expand on. But I don't see any evidence of the plastic work we did. I can't think of seeing the plaster work we did. There just really is very little in here. So, in terms of getting the AS and being able to do it next year, unless you make a real serious turnaround, I just can't see that quite happening. Which would be a real shame, given your ability and this kind of quirky sort of stuff that you've got going on here. So I'm thinking that after school catch up is essential, but you have to take a bit of a risk here and show a bit more of your of who you are and how you like to make things. We need this to happen. A lot of the images that were taken from the early workshops are online on the website that you are watching this video on. So you can print off some of that research. But yeah, it's a catch-up situation and it's a bit of an emergency on this one.